Good morning, friends. Hello, hello. How are you this morning? I pray you are well. What's everybody doing today? Hey, Jamie, how are you? Hello, friends. Hey, Karen, good morning. Great to see you. Hey, John, good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Sharon, good morning to you. Hello, everybody. All right. Good morning. All right, let's get going this morning. It is the 22nd day of May here at 11:11 on this Wednesday. I hope you're having a grand day and I hope there's goodness in it. It is sunny and warm here, just broke 70 degrees and it is climbing. It is one of these high spring days, and we are blessed and lucky to be in the midst of it. I hope you two are enjoying that and seeing some of the beauty in it. Uh, I want to talk about this story from John and from the Gospel of John this morning. It's been so, and this is from the call of some of the disciples. It says, the next day, decided to leave for Galilee, and finding Philip, he said to him, "Follow me." Philip, like Andrew and Peter, was from the town of Bethesda. Philip found Nathanael and told him, "We have found the one Moses wrote about in the law, and about whom the prophets also wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph." "Nazareth? Can anything good come from there?" Nathanael asked. "Come and see." And when Jesus saw Nathanael approaching, he said to him, "Here truly is an Israelite, in whom there is no deceit." "How do you know me?" Nathanael asked. "I saw you while you were still under the fig tree before Philip called you." And then Nathanael declared, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel." And Jesus said, "You believe because I told you, I saw you under the fig tree. You will see greater things than that." And then he added, "Very truly I tell you, you will see heaven open and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man." This story, this kind of famous story of the call of Nathaniel, where Nathaniel ends up in this kind of quandary almost, with this question of how can anything good come from Nazareth? That there is this impossibility. Now, okay, why did they hate Nazareth so much? Well, it was not only was it well backwards, but it was also kind of the land of gangsters. So Nazareth is this really hard place for us to contend that something good is going to come from it. And yet, this is the place that Jesus comes from. I always think about this because I think in the context of us contending with the impossibilities of our life, how every one of us every single one of us today, I think, have this sense that there is something in our life that it is impossible for goodness to come from. Maybe it was a wound done to you, and you carry that wound, and you simply say, there's no way anything good can come from that. There's maybe it was an injustice. Maybe it was something that you did in the world, and you can't even find your way to self-forgiveness or to kind of make sense of it. Maybe it was some rando, chaotic thing that happened. Maybe it's a grief that you carry. There's some sort of loss that's a part of your life that you just say, this is just a thing I have to bear, and nothing good can come from this. And I think Jesus' origin in Galilee is this is partly our encounter with the impossible. And it's one of these things that the more I look at and the more I contend with, the more I realize that it's actually from the impossible that almost all great things come from, or it's actually from the things that we believe really can't be fixed or can't be made better, that actually great beauty and great goodness and great wonder comes from. So just the other day here in town, a guy by the name of Manny Carvalho. Manny passed into the next life. Manny he was a Bronze Star recipient, World War II veteran, and he was kind of beloved around the city. If you never got the chance to meet Manny, you're kind of missing out. He was. I mean, even saying he was a character is not even really fair, because that's kind of almost, kind of too diminishing to him. Like, he was just an incredible human being. Like, he was he fought through World War II, having won having been awarded the Bronze Star, and truly been an incredible light in the city for these many decades. And yet we can look at World War II. We can look at the slaughter of 65 million people around the planet. We can look at the horror of war itself, and the engagement and the encounter of that. And we can stare at that and we say, how can anything good ever come from that? But the reality is that you don't get a Manny Carvalho, you don't get a guy like him without the trials that he endured, without the things that he went through, and without, in many ways, and I think in part the recognition of the things that he went through. That even the kind of the greatest horrors that we can imagine have in them the seeds of the overcoming of these things. The Jesus's origin in Nazareth and Nathanael's claim of, can anything good come from Nazareth, is I think the core kind of rub for all of us in contending with the brokenness and the difficulty and the breaking of the world, that we just seem like the pain of the world is impossible to endure, or impossible to overcome, or impossible. How can anything good come from this? And yet we look at the character of a man formed over many years, but certainly formed in great fire, and certainly formed in great loss when we look at a guy like Manny Carvalho. And he's just one guy in the city who lived his life and was a part of the world here. And every one of us, I think, have a little bit of a Manny Carvalho story at one point or another. There's a great pain or a great difficulty or a great thing that maybe helped form us. And I'm not saying that we should rejoice in those things. Galilee was not, or Nazareth was not a good place. Good things didn't happen in Nazareth. World War II was not a good event. Good things did not happen in World War II. It was wholesale human slaughter on many accounts. And yet, from these broken places, from these impossibly broken places, the very resurrection of the world the very reconnection of humanity with God that is the mission of Jesus Christ in the world comes to us. Because the thing is when we hear God's call, when we hear God's work in the world, I think often the first voice we hear, or at least somewhere along the way, we hear our own little Nathaniel in there saying, can anything good come from this? And we must ever and always be reminded of Philip's invitation. Come and see. So my hope for you today, friends, is that you, in your life, will re-engage, will be willing to set aside your own prejudices of the difficulty of your life, or the horror of the world, or the things that we believe cannot be broken, or cannot be repaired, or goodness cannot come from, and that maybe we'll set them aside just for a moment and hear Philip's voice say, come and see. Because the promise of God is this. What is it that actually convinces Nathaniel? It is the fact that God sees things in him. God sees things he has done. God sees things in that he could not have that could not have been seen in any by him. That could not have been seen by him. That quite literally there is some miraculous moment. There is some knowing that is beyond knowing. And I think that's God's invitation to us, is that God not only knows us, not only knows the places that we have deceit and that we are without deceit, but God also knows what it requires for us to go from the points of pain, from the points of horror, from the points of difficulty, to the points of heroism, and to the points of a life well lived, to the points of being somebody who goes through the crucible of war, to someone who becomes just a stellar, great, funny, incredible guy like Manny Carvalho. Friends, I hope today you will come and see. I hope you will permit the impossible in your life. I hope you'll set aside your prejudices about how bad you think a thing is, or how impossible it is for God to see into or to deal with the thing that you think is undealable, unhealable, unmakeable better than it is. And you will simply open your eyes, open your heart, open your life, and come and see what God will do with it. All right, friends, that's my hope for you today. Peace and grace to you all, and we have an event tomorrow. I'm going to try to get 11:11, so stay tuned here. If I can't get here tomorrow, we will for sure post it on the Facebook page. But all right, peace and grace to you, my friends, and we'll pick it up tomorrow with another 11:11.